Bullock chapter 320 is out. This new tactic seems to be working out quite well for the Bullock team. Nigeria can't stop them while they attack. We also see a flashback of Rin's training in the temple, and after that we see his true self. But before we get into that, let's start with the first page. Moments before the second half started, Isagi suggested to change the tactics they use and to try a new pattern. When it came time to counter-attack, they wouldn't build the attack with every player passing around the ball, but instead the attack will center around Rin and him passing back and forth, and they will tear right through the center. By doing that, everyone will get a chance to try to score their own goals. And this would be called the no-top system. The Nigerian players are confused when they see Isagi and Rin building up the attack and wonder if they're going to be able to counter only by themselves. We then cut to 30 days ago. The monk at the temple where Ego sent Rin tells him to empty his mind and try to visualize the void. Rin tries to do it and sees his two rivals. We have Chibi, Isagi and Sai. Isagi says that he is number one and Sai says that Rin is so tepid. Rin starts raging, but the monk tells him to stay calm and to control himself. He needs to release his fixations and to find true essential mind, but Rin says that it's impossible to release them, because if it wasn't for them, he wouldn't be who he is now. His true mind is wanting to destroy Isagi and Sai, but the ego he has uncovered behind that impulse was that he wants to score goals while destroying himself. Anything that interferes with that is just an impediment. Rin passes the ball to Bachira. After that, Ego begins his dialogue. To humanity's instincts, football is a form of hunting and strikers are the heroes who strike down their prey. That is an absolute truth. Bachira takes a shot, but it's blocked by Obo. Hiyori receives the loose ball and shoots, but the shot is saved by the goalkeeper. After that, Chigiri gets the ball and he shoots, but he is blocked by Onazi. We continue with Ego's dialogue. In other words, within the world's greatest hunting ground, the one with most suitable abilities and mental fortitude can become the world's greatest striker. Therefore, the players must test their egos to see if they can reach the level of heroism. After Onazi's block, the ball is in the air and it looks like Rin is going to receive it. He gets it and passes to Isagi, who then gets the ball back to Bachira. Meanwhile, Rin starts his own dialogue and he says that the labels brother, rival and world best are assigned by someone else and they are just an obstacle. He needs to purify the limiters on his urge to destroy. That state can't be a sudden rampage. Rin needs to make it his default setting. He doesn't need his tongue hanging out to go into destroyer mode anymore. Onazi is shocked now that Rin was cooperating in the build-up, but suddenly he is going off on his own. Moments after that, he sees that everyone is trying to score a goal and he doesn't know who to stop. Chigiri, Reo, Rin and Isagi are heading straight for the goal and Bachira is looking for a pass. He sends a pinpoint pass and Isagi knows that Rin is going for the ball too, but the one closer to it is him. He is on track to reach it a moment before him. It is going all according to Isagi's plan. We see a really cool shot of Isagi's meta vision and Rin's predator eye. And Rin says if Isagi is using his logic to turn himself into a tool for victory, then he will give himself over to pleasure and he will sell his soul to adrenaline. While we see him using Isagi to shoot the ball in the net, Ego states that Rin has reached it. The will to live as a hero with no fear of death. The score becomes 3-0 for Bullock, with Rin's insane awakening leading to the third goal. In the final page, Isagi tells Rin that he is a freak. Hero or death, is that it? Rin says that he has cleared all of his obstacles and has awoken his essence. That's the end of the chapter. Bullock's lead keeps growing, making it nearly impossible for the Nigerian team to stage a comeback. Let's first talk about Rin's awakening in this chapter. First we saw him in his training in the temple. He was saying that he can't release his fixations on his brother and rival. While he continued his training, he realized that his real impulse was to score goals while he destroyed himself, and anything that interferes with that is just an obstacle. His destroyer mode was sealed away, and the only way for him to enter that state was by remembering either his brother or Isagi. But that meant his trump card was fueled by rage. He only becomes unstoppable when he's angry at those two individuals. Obviously that was a problem if he wants to score goals while destroying himself. So to make it easier to enter his destroyer mode, he needs to drop all those labels holding him back. By doing that, he can remove the limiters on his urge to destroy, and once he does, that destroyer mode could become his default state. Seeing his new destroyer mode, his aura is not leaking over the place like before. Now it is being controlled and it is only next to him, telling us that this new Rin is more powerful. The old destroyer mode's leaking aura was just Rin being held back by his own limitations, which means he was wasting a lot of his firepower before. But now that he's learned to control it, he is way stronger than he ever was. We saw everyone making crazy plays in this game. Reo made a crazy play and scored, the same with Bachira, and now we saw Rin. The only one left to do something crazy is Isagi. While we saw how he was controlling the game all the time, we have to see something crazier. His rival Rin has evolved, and if he doesn't do something about it soon, he will lose his top spot in Buok. If you thought that Unazi and the others were overwhelmed by Buok in the first half, then in the second half, Buok is crushing them even harder than before. They weren't able to stop Buok's playstyle in the first half, but now they are using a more attack-focused strategy, which makes it even harder for the Nigerian team to stop it. We saw Unazi in this chapter being completely outplayed. He just froze because there were too many players to block, too many options for them to score a goal. They tried to copy Buok's old playstyle, but after seeing the new one, they were completely shut down. They barely managed to stop 4 shots during that attack, but the 5th one was impossible to stop. It is becoming more obvious that this game was to show off Buok's new awakening and playstyle, getting us ready for the big games in the group. Nigeria saw just how powerful Buok is, so hopefully they take some notes. The next time we see them, it should be at the real World Cup, and a rematch against the Buok players would be epic. I think that Isagi's awakening should be the ending point of this match. We should see something crazy from him, and that should be the ending touch to this game. I expect this game to end in the next few chapters. Also, right now I'm more interested in seeing some moments from the other game in this group. Seeing how England does against France is going to give us an idea of how strong they are. Will their new Gen 11 player be able to compete against Woki, or is it going to be a complete storm from him and the French players? You could also say that there are players on the Buok bench that need to show off their awakenings too. Making this game longer than it needs to be will be a disaster. It already is becoming kinda underwhelming. In my opinion, there is no need for the bench players to take roles in this game. Are we going to watch a complete obliteration? It would be a lot better for us to see a new formation for the next game, where the other players would take a part in. There is no need for us to see all the evolved players in just the first game. Save them for the other 2 games of the group stage. Guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about this chapter? If you like this chapter review, make sure to subscribe and give this video a like. Thanks for watching, see ya.